Welcome back to Open Minded. Today I'm joined by Yousef. Now, I recently met Yousef this year. He doesn't feel like it because I feel so well connected to him. But he's a lovely guy and it's a pleasure to have you on today. Yousef, just to begin with, can you just give us a bit of background about your sporting experience as of yet?
So growing up from a young age, I kind of was interested in loads of different sports, football as well as tennis. Coached a little bit of tennis during time at school. But mainly it was just about football, to be honest with you, mate. And I mean, in terms of football, so it was Sunday league, in and around like different trials with academies, and then it was just about. I mean, was at an academy.
Go on, explain that more. What academy were you at and how long were you there for and how did it unfortunately end?
So there was Middlesbrough Academy, and it was there for a good chunk of time, to be honest. 6-ish years we were playing at a good level, to be honest, at a good level. And it ended based on a back injury where we kind of like basically it was in a really good game. Ended 3-2, scored a hat trick. But literally the last minute was up through on goal, get kneed in the back. The way I fell, literally herniated or slipped, whatever you want to call it. Four discs all on the left side of my back, and was injured for quite a while.
The fact that an injury kind of changed your footballing career, so to speak, what did that teach you?
It taught me to be patient. It taught me that for as good as you can be at something, it might be out of your control, the outcome. And sometimes, like, I'll be like saying that now is easy, but during the time, if somebody was saying them things to me, like family members saying that to me, it's like it just goes in one ear and out the other, because during it you were so dedicated on performing to a certain level and wanting to get to a certain level, and then it just gets taken from you. So you're just there like.
So what would you say to someone right now who, let's say someone's had the exact same experience as you and they've been through an academy and they got injured, and that basically put a stop to that specific journey. What would you say to someone in that moment?
If they were going through it at the same time.
So exactly your journey. If you were to tell yourself in that moment when it happened and when you're going through the process of injury and recovering, what would you say to younger Yousef there?
I would say again about be patient. Like the bottom line is you can't control certain things, and you have to learn to be okay with that. And especially within the realms of sport, because I was never actually good academically, so I kind of like all the eggs were in one basket.
Yeah.
So education was not thriving at the time. So for me, it was always about learning how to realize that you don't have control on everything, and you need to learn to be okay with that. And that's just the bottom line.
So what is something you would praise yourself for when it comes to your mentality? So let's say from when you're a footballer or even now as a coach. So Yousef does coach. He coaches, is it East End on the weekend?
Yeah, under 15s.
Been coaching at the uni as well, and he coaches at NU Foundation. So what is something you'd praise yourself for when it comes to your mentality?
I think the word would be resilient, in the sense of you're allowed to make a mistake, you're allowed to fail, you're allowed to kind of screw up, you're allowed to feel like a failure, but it's about getting up the next day and actually doing it again, because I feel like that's where you learn. I think I watched an interview of Pep Guardiola, and he said he actually learns more about his team when they're losing rather than when they're winning, and I think that's just the same principle. I think resilience, like, it just comes under one massive word, and I think that would be the word. So yeah, I'd say resilience.
So what would you say your process of being resilient is? Because of course I understand that you can say that you're resilient, but are there certain characteristics of that? Is there certain things you do which gets you back up, which makes you able to react and go again?
A lot of it's self-talk, to be honest. Like, there's always voices in my head. There's a voice in your head that tells you that you're not good enough, but then the other part of me says, I always kind of reassure myself, where it's like, you've been here before. This is kind of your moment to do something. If you're not going to do it now, somebody else will do it, and they'll do it better than you. So you kind of need to lift your game. You kind of need to do it better than that. And also, the other thing is, when you make a mistake, it's, do you shy away and never want to do it again? Or do you want to go, nah, I need to correct that. If I get the chance tomorrow, I need to correct that. And I think self-talk is definitely one. I think mindfulness, for me, people laugh when I say this. For me, yoga is a massive thing because it sounds ridiculous, but the way it translates to me is I do yoga every day for my back and to help heal my back to make sure that it's not in pain. And if I miss it, so I've actually been really lazy with it for the past 2 weeks, and my back's been hurting a lot. And so now I've started doing it again, and I feel slowly getting better and better. The point is you have to stay consistent. You have to mentally be resilient. Where it's like, no, I want that extra 20 minutes in bed, but it's like, no, just get up and do it. You're gonna get the long-term benefits. Yeah, the 20 minutes in bed extra would feel cool, but like, what about having a healthier back? What about, growing, being stronger, setting yourself up for a good day? Those types of things. And long term, you only benefit for that. One day, as a chunk of just one day, nobody's going to praise you for that. But the results show and show and show a year, 3 years, 5 years, and that's all the result of doing them 20 minutes in the morning. That's the way it translates in my head.
What's something you would be more open to improving in your life?
Quite a few things. In terms of sports,
In terms of sports
and football and coaching especially, I'd say varying things and not being as stubborn. If I'm doing something with, for example, the under-15s, the East End team, I think I did a drill once where it didn't go how it should have, but instead of, and maybe I explained it poorly, to be honest, and I think the main thing is I need to just be more open-minded and let somebody, be like, just feedback. That's the main thing, feedback, which I think that's why I'm growing. I want to find out more from feedback, from a feedback sense where it's like, what can they tell me? How can they improve? Because they're not going to bash me with a stick. They're not going to be like, yeah, you're not made for that, mate. And a lot. When I was younger, I used to think that that's what people would think about me, but that's not how it is. People actually want to help you grow. And I think when you get into that mindset, so yeah, being in that mindset more, allowing others to help you is the overall thing.
That's good. So understanding that feedback it could be a criticism, but it's all about for your growth. It's not being slammed. It's not being like harshly criticised to the point where everything you're doing is wrong. It's that perception of feedback.
Yeah.
What's something that excites you about the future with your coaching journey?
Oh, there's a lot. Something that excites me. To be honest, this season, being with the under-15s at East End, because they're a good group of kids who are very talented at football, to be honest, as well as the men's threes at Northumbria. They're also very talented. But above that, they would just work very hard. Like that's the main thing. Like yesterday, we played a cup game against Manchester Met, and like I just felt proud that if somebody were to be like, oh, like who do you coach? I felt proud that I could be like, oh yeah, sorry, not Manchester Threes, and Northumbria Threes, because I just felt proud that I could be able to say that because of how much they work hard. Like the amount of players that came off the end that were like hands on knees blowing, all that type of stuff. Like they really ran themselves into the ground, and they'd done that against when we played Leeds Beckett, and also they did that against Sheffield Hallam, to be fair. So yeah.
Before we conclude, is there anything else you'd like to say? Any other messages you have?
Messages is I'm excited to be back at Middlesbrough one day. That's the main thing.
That's one of your dreams, isn't it?
Yeah.
To return at Middlesbrough to relive what happened, but in a coaching sense, right?
True. That's the main thing that I said this to a friend the other day, that kind of they got the chance to say no to me the first time around. I want to make sure that they don't get that choice this time as a coach. So that's the main thing. But there's a lot. I'm excited for the journey. I always think of the destination, but I think that's also a big mistake. To answer another good question you asked me earlier, too busy thinking on the destination when I should just be thinking about the journey.
The process.
Yeah.
Well, Yousef, thank you for coming open-minded. It's been an absolute pleasure. That's been Yousef, open-minded. Thank you.